All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started here with lesson 5.9. This is the recursive formula and geometric sequences. So we have seen recursive formula, but we've seen this in arithmetic, so we are now focused on geometric. So let's go ahead and get started here, guys, with what a geometric sequence is. So geometric sequence in this case, guys, it's basically going when we're going from one term to the next by multiplication. So in this case, by multiplying the numbers. So we're going to go ahead and see two sequences in this case, and then we're going to go ahead and determine by how much it's changing over time. For example, starting off with this one, I have a sequence that has 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16 as their numbers. So question for you here is, how are we going from 1 to 2, from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and then 8 to 12? And in this case, guys, in order for us, we could try doing addition, but 1, it's not going to be the same thing for all. So 1 in this case times 2 gives us 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So in this case, guys, our common ratio, because this is what we use in geometric sequences, common ratio here is going to be a 2. Common ratio here is a 2. Or I could say R equals 2. Now, before I move on to the next one, I want to go ahead and identify my first term. In this case, guys, the first term is always the first number in the sequence, which in this case is a 1. So our answer in this case, let's go ahead and check the next one, guys. And in this case, we do have the sequence here of 81, 27, 9, 3, 1, and 1/3. Once again, guys, we want to go ahead and see how we're going from 81 to 27 to 9 to 3 to 1 and 1/3. And one way for us to check in this case, guys, because we really can't do addition or subtraction here because it's not the same over each term. So if we want to go ahead and find here our common ratio, we're going to go ahead and actually divide the second term by the first term. Let me do it again. Divide the second term by the first term. And in this case, guys, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be the first and the second. It could actually be any other ones. But from the two that you choose, the second one goes first divided by the first. So, for example, if I want to go ahead and find the sequence here, I'm going to go ahead and use these two, let's say. I'm actually going to go ahead and do 27 divided by 81. And if I input that in the calculator in this case, 27 divided by 81, that's going to give us 1.1/3. Let's say I want to go ahead and choose a different number in this case, different numbers here. Let's say I do 9 and 27. If I do 9 divided by 27, and let's go ahead and input that in the calculator, 9 divided by 27, that is still going to give us 1/3. So once again, it doesn't matter which terms in the sequence you use, as long as they're consecutive, meaning next to each other, and you divide the second term by the first one. Okay? So common ratio in this case, guys, R is going to be 1/3. And in this case, guys, what is the first term here? First term in this case, guys, will be an 81. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And in this case, guys, once again, we're given the sequence here, 168, 84, 42, and 21. And we want to go ahead and determine, first off, our first term. So what is A1? And then what is R, which is our common ratio. So A1 in this case, guys, is represented by the first term. In this case, N, when N equals 1, our first term here should be 168. Now, we want to go ahead and see how much is changing each time as we keep on moving. Once again, if we want to find the common ratio, we're going to go ahead and do the second term divided by the first. So that's going to be 84 divided by 168. So let's go ahead and see. 84 divided by 168, that's going to give us 1/2. Or I could do 42 divided by 84, 1/2. Or 21 divided by 42. still 1/2. All right. So in this case, guys, our common ratio here is going to be 1/2. 1/2. So we're basically multiplying by 1/2. Although we could consider it division, we're not going to be dividing in this case. We'll be multiplying, but in this case by a fraction, if it's division. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to this next one, guys. And in this next one, it is the recursive form here. So the first term, which is g of 1, is 168, and common ratio is going to be 1/2. I want to go ahead and find g of 4. And in this case, g of 4 actually talks about the fourth term of the sequence. So my first term here is 168. And I want to go ahead and find this fourth term. So starting off in this case, guys, my common ratio is telling me that I'm going to go ahead and be multiplying by 1/2 each time. So if I want to find my fourth term, I will be multiplying by 1/2 each time. So we're going to go ahead and do 168 times 1/2 gives me 84. And then 84 times 1/2 is 42. And then 42 times 1/2 is 21. So our fourth term, or g of 4, is 21.